everyone, it's Connie Stewart with SimplySimpleStamping.com. Thank you guys for joining me today. We're going to be talking about a hidden gem in the Stampin' Up! Catalog. This is a die set called Patchwork Pieces. Now, many times people overlook it because it's there in the back of the catalog, and it's kind of a standalone set of dies, but we are going to create some really amazing cards. And if you've been following the flashcard series, these cards are also created with flashcards. We're going to have some fun. We'll be creating 3 cards at the same time. I'm so excited to share these, so we're going to go ahead and get started.
Seriously, I mean, how fun are these cards? Can you believe it's done with flashcards? Now, if you're not familiar with flashcards, I've got the link to that up there in the corner because flashcards is just a really great system where if you need to make cards in a flash, you'll have these pieces already cut and ready. I've got hundreds of videos using these 2 little pieces. This one's a little bit different, and we're going to be featuring the Patchwork Pieces dies, and we're going to be creating 3 cards. I know you're only seeing 2 here and 2 here, but it'll actually make 3. I've got lots of tips and tricks for using these dies and how to create these fun patterns. We're going to start with our thank you cards. I loved the color combination here, so let me share with you what you need to create the cards. I have 3 flashcard pieces, Fresh Freesia, Pool Party, and Soft Sea Foam. These are all the same size, 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. We're also going to need 3 pieces of our neutral. I'm going to be using basic white. 3, again, the exact same size. Those are 2 1/2 by 4. We're also going to need some card bases. Now, you can use any size. So this is a 4 1/4 by 11 scored at 5 1/2, so it'll open this way. Or you could do a 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 scored at 4 1/4, and of course opens this way. Either one will work. Now, this is where the Tuesday tip comes in. These are adhesive sheets. Now, I have cut these down to 2 3/4 by 4 1/4, and we are going to adhere those down to our 3 pieces of our colored cardstock. Now, it can be a little tricky, getting that to get on there perfectly straight. So what I recommend is to just peel away one section at a time. By the way, when you peel this, peel it off nice and slow because this has adhesive all over it. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the piece, this is not, the adhesive hasn't been exposed yet. I'm going to line that up right down here at the bottom and then draw up the top. And now you can see, I know I'm going to get that perfectly straight. So now I can peel off my next layer again slowly, and we'll give that a nice back rub. Okay, so my soft sea foam now has this adhesive all over it. It's going to make this so easy. I'm going to repeat this with my remaining 2 pieces of cardstock and my, of course, remaining 2 pieces of my adhesive sheet. 3 colors. 3 adhesive sheets. We are ready to go and create some magic. So we are going to bring in our dies, and you can choose whichever one you want. I thought these colors looked really pretty with this swirl. So we're going to go. And of course, we're going to need our die cutting machine for this. So let's bring in our plates. We have base plate 1, thin die adapter 2, and a cutting plate 3. Now, here's some more tricks for you. Normally, I would put my die face down on the plate. I'm going to reverse that for this one, all right? So I want the cutting side up. That is my adhesive side, and I want adhesive side up. Hear this right in the center of that die. Now, there is a reason I want it centered because we need to repeat that with all of these. They all need to be as close to the center as they can. Now, no stress. I don't want you to stress over it, but let's just do our best to try to get it centered. But if it's off by a tiny little bit, I've got tricks to make that go away. All right, so I have that centered, and now I can add another cutting plate 3. When you press it down, go ahead and give it one more looky-loo. Make sure everything is centered. And now we can run that through. There are all my pieces, and now, my friends, we are simply going to repeat that with our next color. Again, center it up. Then we'll do that with our soft sea foam. We'll have everything cut, and then I've got more tricks for you. Kind of looks like a great big puzzle, right? Well, it kind of is, actually. You know, it's funny because whenever I think of puzzles, I remember doing puzzles with my dad when I was a kid. It was one of my favorite memories with him. We loved to do puzzles. We'd get started, and I'm telling you, it would be 2, 3 in the morning before we realized what time it was and that we had to go to work the next day. And so you notice I'm just going to put all of my colors, all my pieces, so that I know where everything is. That just is going to make my life a little bit easier. There we go. So the first card I want to show you, you notice that our pieces are hitting the side of the card. Yep, we're going to go all the way to the edge. What you're going to notice is that there's a flat edge because of how we cut it. And you notice there's also a little corner right there. So with this first one, I'm not going to adhere anything down yet. I want to go ahead and put all my pieces in place. So we've got a Highland Heather, Fresh Freesia, forgive me. Then we're going to bring in a Pool Party. And that would mean this one down here is going to be in Soft Sea Foam. All right, so now we need a Soft Sea Foam right here. And that would be that piece. The Pool Party right there, you notice that one also is kind of a corner piece, just like a puzzle. Remember when you were all about the corner pieces? Now, these pieces here, these little tiny slivers, on this particular card, I don't think we're going to need them. You might, so keep them handy just in case. All right, this is what makes this project go together so well. So I'm going to start down here in the corner. And because we used that adhesive sheet, I can simply remove this backing, and oh, this just makes us go together like a dream. I'm going to adhere this, and I'm not going to press it down. I just want to lightly put it in place. I think I'm going to do my corners first. I think I'm going to be happier if I get my corner pieces down. Again, like I said, just like a puzzle, you always want to get those edge pieces, those corner pieces. We're going to be doing the same thing here. And you see that one's going to go right up against the edge. Again, not pressing anything down too hard. And now I'll get that final corner piece. And with this one, what you want to focus on is that we get this here in the corner and this one here on the side. All right, those pieces are down. Now we are simply going to fill in, but because we have those corner pieces on, we can easily see how to center that. Now remember I said I didn't press anything down. This can be very forgiving. So if you need to move it, that's why I don't like to press anything down until I am sure I've got it right where I want it. So I'm just gonna kind of just let that lay right there in place. Let me get my last one. All right, let me look at that. I like it. I'm gonna go ahead and give everything a press. So that is the beginning of my card. I've now brought in some of the Pool Party grosgrain ribbon, and I'm just going to tie this in a square knot over here on the right side. And that's just going to kind of hide that little bit of seam. And you notice I always like to leave my ribbon on the spool. I find it just a little bit easier to work with. All right, so you see how that's hiding that seam right there? Yep, it's going to lay right where I want it. Now let's add a sentiment. Remember, we have those pieces of our basic white. Let me set these off to the side. I've got another trick with those to show, so don't go away. And I'm going to use the stamp set Phrases for All. This thank you fit perfect in my circle. And actually, I don't know if I told you this, we're going to be using the 2 3/8 inch circle punch. Now, I am going to go ahead and punch it first. Most of the time I wouldn't, but you can see it's a tight fit, right? Whoo! So I want to actually stamp after I've punched. This is a photopolymer stamp, so that makes it very easy to do. I will stamp thank you in Fresh Freesia ink. I've added Stampin' Dimensionals to the back of my sentiment because I love that pop that it gives. Isn't that so pretty? And we've got that little soft ribbon. All right, now I'm going to teach you how to take these same pieces. We're going to create a little bit different card. You notice this one doesn't go all the way to the edge, but do you notice I've embossed it? Yeah, we're going to do something really fun with this. So let's bring in all of our little die cut pieces. Remember, this makes 3 cards, so you can pick out of the 2 which 3 you want to make. So we've talked about this being a puzzle. And let me tell you, when you are down to your last two, go ahead and put these pieces together because you want to make sure that you have got all the right pieces. Remember, we still have these little slivers, not sure if we're going to need them yet, but we want to go ahead and make sure these are all correct. So take that one, I'll set that one off to the side because we're going to emboss this one. So any embossing folder, you pick your favorite, it does not matter. I'm just going to lay these here inside. They don't have to be together perfect or anything like that, but I do want to at least make sure they're all going the right direction. So you see, look, I'm not even straight and I'm not worried about it. I'm going to put that into my embossing folder. Let's bring our die cutting and embossing machine back in. And to emboss, we need a base plate 1 and a cutting plate 3. Let's take our pieces, we'll add it right there. The only thing you want to make sure is that nothing's touching each other, okay? Again, being straight, not going to be a problem. I'm going to add top plate 3 and we're going to run that through. All right, so now we have cardstock that is embossed and it has adhesive on the back. And just like before, you want to get your puzzle put together before you adhere anything down. Now for this one, we're going to kind of bring these pieces in a little bit. Let me bring in my example so you can see. Yeah, we're going to bring these in. I'm going to start, I think I'm going to start with, you know what, I'm going to start with the corners. I just think the corners are the easiest way to go. And by the way, you could still do this the way we did with the first one and go all the way down in the corner. But let's just, and again, just like before, we're not going to press anything down. I'm just going to kind of tack it there. And yeah, let's go ahead and do all our corners. All right, our corners are down. Now we will fill in with our final two pieces. And remember, we're just kind of eyeballing things. And as I mentioned earlier, if you need to move, and now I can already see, I need to move this one down just a hair. I think what I love most about the adhesive sheets is that I'm guaranteed to have adhesive everywhere. So no worries about any corners or anything not wanting to stick. And what do you guys think? I think I'm good with that. Now we'll give everything a press. I've got 5 Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of my sentiment. By the way, I did that the exact same way. I decided I wanted all these to be thank you cards. That's just one I tend to want to have on hand. We will add our thank you. And you can see I just added a little ribbon knot. Honestly, this is probably one of my favorite ways to add an embellishment while keeping it affordable, because it just uses such a small little bit of ribbon and it makes it easier to mail as well. So we will take a mini glue dot, press our little ribbon knot, add that there to the top. And as I said, friends, any embossing folder. So you can go all the way to the edge, you can bring it in, you can leave it plain, you can emboss, but we get to make one more card because remember, we still have all the pieces to make one more. I just get to decide what I want to do. Now, on that note, I do want to mention one thing. Many of you might be going, Connie, why don't you just piece them together and that will be perfect? Well, you know what? I thought that would be the case, and it was not, because these were all cut separately. I can't guarantee everything will come together, and I'm going to give you an example. You know, learn from my mistakes. So this is one that I did with the other die, and you know what? It's just a little sloppy. It didn't quite come out the way I wanted. So I think I'm going to stick to, if anything, just spreading these out even just a little bit. I think we'll just be a little bit happier with it. Let's see, this one here looks like we will need our little sliver if we go with that one. But you see how that's kind of looking a little bit better if you wanted to keep it in a little bit more. But I don't know, I just kind of liked filling up my cardstock a little bit more.
As always, I have a free download that goes along with my video today. In this download, you're going to have the measurements, photos, the supply list, a link back to this video if you need to watch it again, and you can even order those patchwork pieces from there as well. You'll just click the link, it'll take you right to my store, and friends, I would love to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. You can find that at simplysimplestamping.com or just look down in the YouTube description.
All right, so again, very similar to what you saw me do, only I changed up the colors. And I used the Starburst die on this one. Now, my stamp set, I chose something fancy. I didn't forget your birthday. I'm just stretching out the celebration because everyone knows I'm always late with the birthday cards. So I thought I needed a few of these. So the colors that I used here, Melon Mambo, Pumpkin Pie, and Flirty Flamingo. Now, you know the drill. We're going to use our adhesive sheets, and then we're going to run each one through our die cutting machine, just like you did before. We're going to put cutting blades up. This will also be adhesive sheet up, and then we can run this through our machine. Okay, here's my tip when using this die. I want you to take just the two cutting plates. I want you to flip it over so it's die side up and slide it off. This was a little bit more complicated puzzle to put together. I know it might not seem like it, but we want to keep all those pieces together, all right? We're going to go ahead. We'll repeat this with our other pieces of cardstock. Remember, take your cutting plates off, flip it, and slide it. Now, I can hear you. Oh, come on, Connie. How hard can this puzzle be? You know what? It actually can be challenging. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with 1, go to the next one, 2, and the next one, 3. Now we're just going to keep going. 1, 2, 3. Again, we're going to repeat. Now I'm going to go ahead and repeat that here with what's remaining. Just do your best to kind of keep these in order. They slide really well though. All right, there we go. So here are my pieces. I'm going to show you. These are going to go together in the exact same way. We're going to start with the 4 corners, all right? So we will start with this piece, add it to that corner. We're not going to press anything down. So in this particular one, it's all Melon Mambo. So these will all adhere to the corners. Then I'm going to recommend that you start with the larger pieces. We can add those there, and then we'll fill in with the littles. All right, that's all there is to it. Again, you guys know how you're going to put it together with those adhesive sheets. And then you see I just punched my sentiment the same way you saw me do before and stamped, I didn't forget your birthday. Now this one, guys, I just used a different embossing folder, but I did the exact same thing. I took all my pieces, put it in the embossing folder, ran it through, and look at that. And then a little bit of black and white gingham made it look extra fun. There you go. The Patchwork Pieces dies, tips, tricks, ways to make it really amazing. Guys, what's the best part about this die? Let me tell you, it goes with just about any stamp set, right? It does not matter what you pair this with. This could also be done with designer series paper, stamped cardstock. Get creative, have some fun. I loved mixing these up and using my flashcards to create 3 cards, 3 flashcards, but we were able to come up with some fantastic color combinations. I would love to hear from you, some of your color combinations that you love to create with, and I hope that you are going to find the Patchwork Pieces in the back of the Stampin' Up! Catalog. Right there on page 165. I'm telling you, this is kind of a hidden gem, and I don't want you guys to miss out on it.
Thank you so much for joining me. If you liked the video, would you give me a thumbs up on YouTube? I always appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, we'd love to have you. Just click the subscribe button, ring the bell. YouTube will let you know whenever I'm back with a new video. And hey, while you're at it, invite your crafty friends. We'd love to have them join in. Thank you again, everyone. We can't wait to stamp with you next time. Bye-bye.